Hello everyone, I just wanted to add this here because of the recent incident that happened in Colorado during the Dark Knight Rises midnight premiere. Can't fathom it. Something that's meant for other people's enjoyment, entertainment, ended 12 people's lives because one man just had to become a psychopath. That's just absolutely ridiculous. I just want to pay my respects, and I'm sorry for those who lost loved ones that night due to the recent incident. All my prayers go out to you. I hope you feel much better after this because this was really shocking to hear. As a diehard comic book and movie fan, I am just really hit hard by this, knowing nowhere's safe. But that doesn't matter because I will still go watch movies. I will still go watch comic books. I will be scared. I really will be, knowing that stuff like that can happen again. But that's nothing to be afraid of. If you love watching comic book movies, if you just love watching movies in general, if you just like watching comic books in general, do it. Don't let this man scare you. It's not what's supposed to be accomplished at all. You're supposed to enjoy life to its fullest. Please, if you still want to see The Dark Knight Rises, go see it. Watch the movie in honor of those who couldn't see it. Alright, thank you all for listening, and thank you all for your time. Here we go. The Dark Knight Rises. It's good, not great, not as good as The Dark Knight, will never be as good as The Dark Knight. I'm sorry to say that, but it's true, and everyone knows it. This movie takes place 8 years after the events of The Dark Knight, which is pretty much Harvey Dent has stopped all organized crime in Gotham City, and peace is restored, and yada yada yada, everyone's happy. And of course Gordon is feeling guilty for all the displeasure, Batman is retired, Bane starts rising out of the ashes, and, of course, Batman has to get suited up and become the Batman again. Now, here's the big problem. I don't want to spoil anything because the plot gets a lot more complex. It happens to be a really good plot that I really don't want to spoil for anyone. You're going to have to watch the movie yourself. But it gets crazy. It gets incredibly intense. It has so many twists. There's one twist you don't see coming. Then again, here's just one of the problems I want to say it out. The twist that you see coming, only comic book geeks will get it. If you don't know who the character is, then you're just kind of like, who's that? I don't get it. I want to know. In fact, that's one of the weirdest things about the movie right there. That it's probably one of the most comic book related one out of all the other ones. I mean, you look at Batman Begins, it's like based off no comic. It's just based off Christopher Nolan's idea. And then The Dark Knight is pretty much, if it didn't have Batman in it, it'd just be a crime scene investigation movie. With them trying to fight a dude in mass pain, and Batman just to be hopping around, spandexing people in the face. And then you have this one, which is based off around the whole mythology of, you know, Bane breaking the bat, and then the bat rising again. That was actually a comic. It's funny, because you were expecting, like, this really cool original idea, and they were going to go a new direction with Bane, but they really don't. They just follow the comics. In fact, sorry to disappoint everyone, but Bane actually ended up being incredibly uninteresting. They tried to make him interesting. They failed at that. Probably the biggest surprise of the year is Catwoman. And this was the one character I was really worried about. I thought she was not going to play it right, especially because she doesn't look like she'd be a good Catwoman, but she was incredibly intimidating, and not for the reasons you think. She was kind of that anarchist type of woman, but not too anarchist. And it was cool that not seeing her be the love interest until at the very end when it was kind of forced, but, you know, that's just how cliche movies work and whatnot. And sorry to disappoint you Batman fans, but there's not that much Batman in this movie than there was in the last movie. In fact, this is very focused on Bruce Wayne, and him just growing as a character. Still uninteresting as a character, but he grows to not be Batman that much in this movie. He appears in the middle of the act, and then the last act, and that's it. Not that much Batman, more Bruce Wayne. Kind of disappointing. I wanted to see Batman people. Because he's Batman. There were some very obvious pacing issues at times. Like, there were times where I would just be sitting there wondering when things were gonna happen. Like, you were waiting for that climax, really. And then when it shows up, you're like, oh, thank God! There's that one really disappointing scene. You know the scene I'm talking about? The one where Bane breaks the bat. You thought it would be a lot more epic, but then it would just kind of happen in, like, the flash of a second. You're like, wait, it's over? That's it? What? Do you see the pacing issues I was talking about? The entire cast was great. Joseph Gordon-Levitt actually did a really good performance and had a crazy cameo at the end of the movie, which didn't really give any hints to anything else. But overall, this was a good movie. Like, this proves that Nolan can make a trilogy. He pulled it off with Batman Begins, a good movie, The Dark Knight, a great movie, and The Dark Knight Rises, a good movie. That's hard to pull off. He pulled a Star Wars with this one. Unless he makes a prequel or reboots it. If that happens, Batman is so dead to me. So is this a must-see? Absolutely if you've seen the last couple movies. If you haven't seen the last couple movies, you're not human. If you're not human, you should probably see them. If you see them, you're human again. Alright, thank you all for listening, and have a good night. There's also one more thing I'd like to address. I know we're done with Batman and the whole thing, and I also saw the Man of Steel trailer premiere in front of my showing. Boom. Just saying. It's your choice, DC. Unless you don't like money. Alright, thank you all.